Priscilla Shearer, who is a Christian author, speaker, and even actress. In fact, she played the role of the wife in the movie War Room, if you happen to see that movie. She once said that unity does not mean sameness. It means oneness of purpose. Welcome to another edition of Family Worship Night. We're continuing our Write a Verse a Day campaign here at Fellowship Church, and this is the month of August. Our theme for this month is understanding. So I want to read from Colossians chapter 2 and verse 2. It says this, that their hearts may be encouraged, being knit together in love, to reach all the riches of full assurance of understanding and the knowledge of God's mystery, which is Christ. Paul uses this language a couple times, the mystery of God, which always is pointing to Jesus. And understanding who Jesus is, understanding God through Jesus. It is a lifelong pursuit to fully understand Him. You know, if we read this verse backwards, I think what Paul's saying here becomes actually a little bit more clear. Think of the last part first and the first part last. If we read it that way, it would say something like, if you want to reach the full assurance of understanding and knowledge of Christ, then be knit together in love. We need to be committed to each other in love and community if we want to grow in Christ. You know, that word there says that Paul hoped that our hearts may be encouraged. You know, this word encourage means, sometimes it means to come alongside and to comfort. Other times it means to exhort, admonish, or to instruct. Either way, depending on the circumstance, depending on our relationship, depending on what's needed, we need to do the right thing to help each other grow and strengthen our lives in Christ. Paul's saying we want to do that through two ways. Being committed to community and loving each other in community, and then growing in truth about who Christ is, how He taught us to live, what He taught us to do. In other words, he's saying that only happens, we only grow as Christians when we do it in love, in community, helping each other. You know, the motto of the Moravian Church is, in essentials, unity, in non-essentials, liberty, and in all things, love. They have long been a voice for unity in God's church, but this is not how they started. You know, in 1722, a small group of Christians from Moravia fled persecution from the Catholic Church, and they found refuge on the estate of a very generous German count. Now, over the next 4 years, the group would grow to over 300 people, all from varied backgrounds and a variety of different Christian beliefs. However, instead of finding a refuge sanctuary, their religious differences caused a lot of fighting, and the city ended dividing up into various factions. Now, the owner of the estate, Count, and I'm going to say his name probably wrong, Count Zinzendorf, he went to the villagers and he tried to encourage them to work together and to be living in unity and to love each other. Eventually, they decided on what they called the brotherly agreement, which meant that they would focus on what they agreed on rather than what they disagreed on. This is a small choice. However, it was a launching point for what became an incredible revival that broke out amongst them and still continues the Moravian work all around the world to this day. May we be working in love and unity with our brothers and sisters to grow in Christ and to reach His world for Him. God bless you. We'll see you again next week.